Hello guys and girls. Okay, we're going to build a stand for a dryer and a washer, countertop cover for it. And to do this we've got a huge span. Ours is 74 1/4 inches. As you see, I've already cut the boards. What we're using, because we're going to tile on top of this, is 1-inch exterior grade plywood. So it's got 8 strands, each one 1/8 of an inch, 1 inch. Home Depot usually doesn't cover this. You usually have to go to a plywood store, builder store, etc. to get it. What we've done is we've used 6-inch support, and the reason why I wanted to get 3 screws in there, and in the walls, if you're going near water and if you're going near electricity, when they drill the holes, they're only set back about 1 inch. So you don't want to go too far so that you could run into an electrical line or pop a water line in behind the wall. So a 1-inch and number 8 screw holds about 500 pounds. So as you see, there's lots of screws. Each one has 3, and that should give us lots of support. What we'll do after we get the top in is we'll look and see how much deflection there is and probably put a leg in the middle. See this middle piece? We've cut out the center. This way when we put it in, we can get the hoses, drain hose and the 2 water pressure hoses up there. I've also filed these down so that there's no sharp edges on them. So with a little bit of movement we don't have to worry about it. We have the braided steel lines, but a lot of people still use the rubber lines or plastic lines. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to glue these down, the side pieces, and the reason that we're doing it this way is to take a little bit more deflection off of it. The counter is going to be 30 inches wide from end to end. When you come out this far, as you see, I've got next to no clearance at all. We've only left a 1/2 inch for clearance. But what we've done is everything is going to be attached here. The screws are going to come up from the underside to hold it. That way if you ever want to take it down and get a different size washer or dryer, it's not a big deal. You just take the screws off from the underside, take the whole top piece off, and then you can take the sides off and switch it up. But with any luck we'll never have to do that. Okay, we're working with PL Premium. PL Premium works really well with plywood because it expands. You can hold anything. I've seen people put house numbers on rocks with PL Premium. It's a little bit more expensive, but it will go in there. So I'll do all the top edges with PL Premium and then I'll screw it down. Okay, PL Premium has been laid in a bead all the way along, including the back one and on the other side. So now I'm just going to put the trim boards, the support boards, finish them up, and I will now screw them down and ready for the top piece. Okay, the screws are all in place. You don't have to go too crazy with the screws because the glue is going to be what's giving it all its strength. So we'll let that set up for a little bit, and then there'll be another board going over top, which is going to hold the tile on top of that. There'll be a front piece. It'll give it a little bit more rigidity, which I'll show you in a little bit. Okay, we're putting on a little piece for a little bit more strength in the front. What this is going to do, because I've gone against the ply, it's going to put a little bit more rigidity because we got a long span there. I've also put little triangle pieces, and they're going to actually be there to hide the little covers in the back. That's just the first side. Then I'm going to do another one over top. The screws that I usually always use Robertson or square head screws. The reason why is that they're very versatile. You can work with one hand doing it, they stay on, they don't fall off. So you see I have this one, I just put that on. I just put that one on with one hand. I've got the screw upside down. It's still holding on. Yeah, that's one of the advantages of Robertson screws. You see I've put PL Premium on the front of this, and now I'm just going to glue it on. It will give it a lot more rigidity, and then I can look at the final finishing pieces. Okay, I've put these little corner pieces in, and they're not really going to do much for strength. They're more just to hide the piece in the bottom so that when you walk in you don't see it. It's also taken the rigidity quite a bit. This little front piece, if you look, when pushing down, it barely moves now. Obviously if you had a thicker, if you had more room, you could do a bigger one, but the bigger the piece, the higher the cabinet, so it's a trade-off. This one is 1 3/16 inches, and it did make a little difference. Once that PL sets up too, it'll be even stronger. Okay, metal trim going on. It's cut at 22.5 degrees. So that the tile, I've stapled this on, and then the tiles will cut at 45 and the rest across. Then we'll start doing that. Okay, as you can see, we've got the skim coat on. It's just drying. We'll leave it for a little bit till it's totally dry, and then we'll put the front pieces on, and we'll go from there. You see the leg is set in the center. There's absolutely no deflection with the 1-inch thick plywood, and with the piece on the front, which is at a right angle, it gives it lots of support, lots of strength. I've already pre-cut the front facing tiles, and they're going to go just level with this, and then another piece of edging will come across. This is a front piece is actually 7/8 of an inch. And the back, from the very tip to the very back, is 30 inches.
Something random when it says Casty.
Yeah.
No, like we looked for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
He's like, find something under $8.
This is the tile. Before. It's got all numbered. We'll take it out in the garage. We'll back butter each one of these, and then place them all where they belong. After I take these out, I'll put some green masking tape along the side just to leave that little bit of a gap so I can always move this up and down if I happen to get a taller washer or dryer. Okay, tiling is complete. Look at the narrower space. And then once it sets up, we'll rip that off. Just grub right over it. Whatever's not sticking. Okay, this is the final finished product. A couple things could have been done differently. Obviously, it depends on how much time you want to spend. So you can see the back here all I did is I cut the wood as I showed earlier, and that also allows for venting. Any excess heat rises, it's going to come out. Tiling's done. A couple little tricks or options depending on how you want it. These corners here, if you look closely, I'm looking from this angle, you can't see anything, but if you stand back, you can see the plywood which I've painted. You can actually angle this plywood, of course, at 45 degrees in the back, which hides it a little bit better. The disadvantage of that is if you do whack it coming out, you could theoretically damage the tile. The other important thing, it's been a few weeks now, is that when you use the grout, we used sanded grout, and with the sanded grout you see the gaps are about 1/8 of an inch here, but down it's about a 32nd. You can still squeeze the sanded in there. If you go to the non-sanded, it probably won't stay, it will chip out over time. And against the walls we've used caulking. At Home Depot, Lowe's, Rona, you can get the caulking that matches the grout. Even though this is the exact same, it's supposed to be a perfect match, you can see it ended up a little bit darker on the finished product. Anyhow, to get a slab of granite to put on this was approximately $900. This entire job cost me 200 Canadian, which of course right now is about 150 US. Have any questions, you can always put them on the post and I'll check that every now and then. Good luck.